Good morning. Welcome to my channel. My name is Shoshana, and I want to talk this morning about following your intuition, following your intuitions. I was just listening to a talk from Bashar, and he was talking about how our higher selves, what is our higher selves? Our higher selves is like a twin of ours that is on top of a hill, and we are in the valley, and the higher self is able to see a much broader perspective and is able to lead us. So we in the valley, right? Us down here on earth, our physical body, our persona, we are the one that is experiencing. We are the experiencer. We are the one that is playing out the actions in the physical world, and we are the ones that are actually um, living this life. We are the actor in the life. We are the one that is uh, perceiving what we are, the witnesses to what is happening, and also the experiencers. And so there is our higher self is like, you would liken it to somebody standing up on top of the mountain and can see the broader view, and you can relay messages back and forth, and you relate to them, well, I want a life that looks like this. And from their broader perspective, they can see the quickest path to get there. And so they will tell you, well, take a right at the next junction, or do this and do that. And the way that you communicate is through your intuition, right? This is my own addition because I understand it. When he was speaking of this, it came into such an understanding. So your way of communicating with your higher self is through your intuition. And so you and during this life experience, so many of us were taught out of listening to our intuition and taught only to listen to the meat body. Whatever makes sense in your mind, you have to think about it. You have to force things. You are the one that makes things happen, when in fact, you are the experiencer. You are the tail end. You are where it all plays out. You are the experience. You are um, the I'm not going to get stuck on this point. There's a term that I want to use here about alchemy, how the alchemist's stone. And so you are the one that everything is happening within, but you are not the one that um, completely decides. You as a whole being, with your higher self, connection to God, all of that is happening at such a much broader level. So when you are in your meat body and in your mind and trying to force things to happen in a certain way, you're trying to force things to happen from being inside the pot, not from being above the pot deciding what goes into the pot. And so you can make requests, and you do that through emotion and through your excitement. So let's say whatever happens, you can see the good in it, and you see that whatever is happening for your higher good, is happening so that you can experience this or that, even if it is something that you are not enjoying experiencing. It is for your higher good, so that not that you want this other. So it is taking you closer always to the path that is more aligned with your vibration and who you want to be. So when you receive relays through your intuition, that is your higher self guiding to you to what you actually want. And after laying that down, when you have and you communicate what you want through envisioning it, through emotionally feeling it, through being a vibrational match to what it is that you do want in your experience. And in that way, your higher self, because you are relaying the message through intuition, through the vibration of what it is that you want, then your higher self say, oh, okay, that's the vibration that she is in. Let's bring her to where her home is with that vibration. So that's why we can envision what it is that we want, but not to get stuck on that specific vision, because what we are actually looking for is the vibration of that thing. And your higher self can reads those emotions and reads those vibrations and will bring you into something that is a vibrational match to that thing. And it may not look like you envision it to be. So whatever that is, if you envision it so that you can muster up that emotion of it and what it feels like to live in that state of being, or in that um, existence, right? Because sometimes as our meat body, we have all of our every single tool that we have, including our mind, is at our fingertips for our use. So we can envision something, an image that we can relate to, right? Something that we saw in childhood, something that we saw on TV, so an ideal life that we would want, so that we can envision it, find the emotion of it, and then let go of the vision of it and allow our higher self to lead us to that place. Now, here's where the disconnect happens, right? Because first of all, many of us have been taught out of listening to our intuition. That's just fantasy. Oh, quit being in la la land. Quit dreaming. You're set in reality. You need to work hard. You need to make things happen. And when you think that you are in the driver's seat, it's you trying to control everything in the meat body from the valley without that higher perspective. So you're doing the job. You're trying to do the job of your higher self. Your higher self is who is going to guide you and lead you through intuition to the place where you need to be. As long as you are trying to control, you're taking away the control, and you're taking the reins away and trying to do a job that is not yours, that you do not have the vision for. You may have some successes at it, but you cannot completely guide yourself when you are yourself blind. And not only that, you don't have the tools for that. You are the one being led. You are the one that is experiencing. You can relinquish control over to your higher self and allow your higher self to guide you, even if it is blind to you, because that is not your job. Your job is to experience what is coming. Your job is to see what happened. Your job is to walk through the valley and perceive all the grandness of what is happening. You have the best job ever. You don't have to make it happen. And that's where we get lost in thinking that we have to make it happen. Because first of all, it's frustrating because you can never do that job. You are not designed for it. You are not going to be good at something that you were not designed for. And you will be working blindly. So you may have some successes or perceived successes, but it will never be as grand as if you relinquish control and just find the vibration of what you want. And besides, if you find the vibration and you're living that vibration, regardless of your outside circumstances, you are already living the life that you want. So it's kind of like it makes it happen just in itself. Because if you are feeling it, you are already existing it. You are already experiencing it. Because what is the experience? The experience is the emotion. What are we feeling? Why are we reaching for things that we're reaching for? We're reaching for them because of how they will make us feel ultimately, right? It doesn't matter exactly what that looks like in the physical world, how it manifests in the physical world. We're searching for what it feels like to be that experience, to experience that, to be in that place. And so just in the imagination itself, you are already making it come to be. And as you are manifesting those emotions, as you're creating those emotions, your higher self gets guidance as to where to lead you. And your higher self knows the quickest path because it's sitting up there on top of the mountain and it can see all the valleys. So it might tell you over there, take a right. And where's the disconnect? We're getting back to the disconnect, is when we don't know how to or don't listen to our intuition because, first of all, we were taught out of it. Sometimes we don't even recognize it when it comes in because it's such a subtle, it's such a soft, you have to be very, very quiet, and you have to leave space for your higher self to speak with you. If you are constantly trying to force things to happen, you're cutting your higher self out. You're not allowing even space in your mind or in your receivers, in your receptors, to receive those messages from your higher self, because it's such a delicate language. It happens in whispers within. It happens when you are in complete quiet and leaving space in the physical world for that intuition to come in so that you can follow it. And then following that intuition, because a lot of times it's like we get these messages, take a right, take a right, take a right. Don't do that, right? Because when we're going through life and all of a sudden we're doing something, or we're doing something that is out of alignment with who we are. It could be in our jobs. A lot of times what's in our jobs, things that we do to make money because we have to make money, because we have to make a living. And we're afraid to leave it, even though it is completely out of alignment with who we are, who we've become. We have completely grown beyond it, but we keep on doing it because of fear, because it gives us security. And because of fear, if we leave that, we won't have means. And in the world, there is no gap. There is no gap between you and your surroundings. Even if it seems like there's air, there's nothing here. There's air, there's particles. There is no gap. You cannot fall. You are part of this existence. You are inseparable from this existence. So if you move from one place, you will simply be in another place. There is no gap. And all circumstances are neutral. There is no emotion. There is only the emotion that you attach to the situation, right? So there was something that I wrote down here that was kind of coming through, and it kind of connects here. Is we are all sharing the same platform, time, space, matter platform, right? So we're all sharing, everybody in the world is sharing the same platform, but each and every one of us has a completely different story that is going on in our minds, right? So we're all living out a completely different existence on the same shared platform. We meet each other in the supermarkets, and my story and the other person's story could never be the same story. We're living completely different stories. And I may do an individual video on this because it's such an important. And then there's the we could be in a cup. We join consciousnesses, right? So two people in a coupleship could be living a joint consciousness as well as individual consciousnesses. And this rises up, right? If you're working at a workplace, then there could be 20 or 50 or 1,000 people with the sharing a story, which each and every one person in that shared story also has their own individual story in place within that story. And then it goes on up to countries, states, humanity. So it keeps on like it's like droplets of water that join together, and they all make one story together. And so countries now are in stories, this country against this country, and they all have their own story going on, and each and every one of them think that they're right and that their story is the only story that matters. And so there's a disconnect there also between humanity, like a ripping of humanity and those globs of consciousness. So that was a little side note. I'm going to pause this because I need to get back into connectivity. So as we shift into a more intuitive way of living, it's kind of a shift. You shift out of being in the ego, and you kind of rise into a place where you rise into your higher self, where you have this perfect connectivity, where you can also see the higher perspective and be the experiencer. It's kind of like reducing the gap between the two, and then you can be both of those experiences as at once. And so when you start listening to those intuitions, right, you will see that it is guiding you to the quickest path to the life that you do want. You made the vibration, you put in the request, and now your higher self is wanting to give you. Your higher self is in perfect harmony with the universe around that. Your higher self knows simply how to lead you there, right? So we also, as we're being led, we have to relinquish all of the false identity from us to allow ourselves to be led down this new path, and to trust and to fully live life to the fullest, right? So as we begin to listen to our intuition, we begin to trust it. We begin to see that it is leading us to the path. A lot of times it's really scary because your intuition is telling you, don't go to that job. Don't go to that job. But then your mind is going, well, how am I going to live? How am I going to live? I can't just let go and start doing my art. I can't just let go and start doing this other thing that I really want to do. There's going to be a gap in there. I'm not going to be taken care of. When in fact, your higher self is leading you down the quickest path. And maybe the quickest path is collapsing your current life completely collapsing it so that you can step fully and quickly into your new life. And we are afraid not letting go, being in the meat body, not letting go of what you already know and what you feel safe in and what you know how to do already. And therefore you are prolonging the state of first of all, of pain, right? Because sometimes it's just like, take that Band-Aid off. Take the Band-Aid off and let it heal, right? Or slowly pull the Band-Aid off, and then you are prolonging that pain. Maybe there'll be a shock in pulling that Band-Aid off and a really quick shaking up of things, but the path to your new life will be that much quicker. It'll be just like an instant moved. And of course, there's the time of establishment and taking control, but it's also in the decision making, right? Because when you can be in so much faith, so much belief in your new path, it doesn't matter what anybody says. When you believe fully in this new way, you cannot do what is false for you anymore. So you can also trust the process. There is a shifting, there is trust, there is a time of elapse is what's coming, the word that's coming, but there's a time of shifting. And there's a time where you begin to see the new path, and you don't fully trust it until, and then slowly it becomes so true that you cannot deny it anymore. And it becomes in such a knowing that it is an absolute within you. It's just like me when I started making these videos. In the beginning it was like, and then slowly it's like, no, this is something that I have a calling to do, and you cannot deny that calling anymore. And it will happen for you in that way. It has to, because you cannot, as your vibration shifts, you cannot stay in misalignment, in something that doesn't align with your higher self anymore. And so as you're receiving these messages, right, from your higher self by way of intuition, sometimes by a real kick in the butt, sometimes it really comes in strong, like the universe starts closing the old path for you. You can't go down this path anymore. It's closed. The doors are closed. If you're not listening to that higher calling, a lot of times the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, will come in and close those doors for you and kind of force you to go down the new path, and kind of force you to take a leap of faith and jump off that cliff. And if you are getting messages and your higher self is take a right, and you're not taking a right, a lot of times you will quit receiving it, or you will perceive that you are quitting to receive messages. Let's say your higher self tells you to take a right, but you take a left because you're trying to control but this way looks more clear, and you don't realize that this path could have, maybe it took you into a stone wall, but there was a door that went through the wall, and you were cutting straight through the mountain, rather than taking a path that is going to take you another 2 years to get you to where your higher self was going to lead you in 5 minutes. And so When you don't listen, your higher self is still in tune with what is aligned with your best into your best purpose. And so let's say even if you do take a left, it's like your GPS goes rerouting, and it will take you on the next path. It'll tell you, okay, then you missed that one, then take a right here. And if you keep going down that path, it will continuously reroute you. And the thing is that if you're not listening to that intuition, you're not taking that advice, it cannot open up the next step for you, right? Because everything is like layered. It's built on step, right? So if it's telling you take this step so that you can rise to this place and you don't take that step, it can't take you to this step because there's a gap in there. You won't be ready even to perceive this step without first taking this step. And so you have to learn how to listen to that intuition. And the best way that I'm finding, and there's so many different ways to get to the same outcome, but the best way that I'm finding is meditate. When you meditate every morning, you leave space. You find space in between the thought. Not only are you leaving space, but you are also telling your higher good, I am dedicated to this path, this spiritual path. I am dedicated. I am not abandoning you, and you will not abandon me. And slowly you're going to begin to close that gap between your higher self and you. You're going to slowly become a integration of those. And as you integrate, you'll see that there's so many things that are integrating all at once. Your heart, your emotion is becoming aligned with your thought, with your action. Everything within you, the gaps start falling away. What you think and what you say begin to be so in sync. No matter what you who you a lot of times we like put like these filters. We don't say what we truly think because it might hit that person that way, or it might hit that person that way. And when you take those filters off, and I don't mean to go out blatantly and hurt people's feelings, or saying things on purpose, just to cause a ruckus, because even in that there is a anti. It's not being true. It's kind of forcing. It's also weakness. It's like my truth will only be truth if I force it on to somebody else. But I'm just saying, being honest and true to yourself. Let's say if and aligned with your higher vibration. Let's say if a girlfriend is telling me something, and it's completely out of alignment with true and righteousness, I'm not going to agree with her and say, yeah, that was a good step. I will say, I will not let it pass beyond me either by ignoring it. I will come out and I will say, listen, I don't agree with that. I think that was completely off because of this and this and this and this. And I will state what I think. They can agree or disagree. It doesn't matter, but I will be true to myself. I will not be in compliance. And what I realize is that this is also a gift to whoever it is, so that they have a lot of times we're blind to to the way that what we think, or if we're off in some way, we're off in that way for a reason, because of false beliefs. So at least if you put it out there, you give the other one the opportunity to see and to repair and to see another perspective, at least, of what they're doing. So even if it is hitting up against them, it's uncomfortable for them to hear initially, it is giving them the opportunity for healing. Whether they accept it or not, or take it, or what they do with it, is none of your business, and it doesn't matter anyway. It doesn't. But at least you were true to yourself, and you're telling your higher self, okay, keep giving me the messages. I'm taking it to the next level. I'm taking it to the next step. I'm doing the work with it. I am able to conceive and to. So if your intuition is telling you don't go down this path, dare to go down this new path. Trust in your higher self, that your higher self always has your best intention. Your higher self wants the best for you. It can't be different because your higher self is you. It is you. Maybe you are perceiving that separation, but your higher self is not perceiving that separation. Your higher self is always there for your higher good. Your higher self is connected to the divine at that place in your center. Your higher self has a much broader, more complete perception and um, what is the word? it's, it's so strange because the further I go along in my spiritual path, it seems like a lot of times I lose words that perception, perceiving. Your perspective. See, just the simplest words. A lot of times when I lose just the simplest words, it seems like it's a I'm losing one thing and gaining one thing. It's like a handover. The further I go into this, just being in a state of wonder and pure consciousness, the more my language is becoming simpler and simpler, and my life is becoming simpler and simpler as things align. Everything that I do is with purpose. Everything that I do is has a higher meaning and has a higher purpose, and it seems like I cannot do things that don't. I can do dishes and things that I do need to do to maintain my life, but as a way of let's say hobbies or things like that, it seems like everything must have a higher purpose to it, or higher meaning, or a higher message, or something that is vibrationally aligned. So I hope that this was very helpful. I could just keep on going and going and going on this subject, bringing it home, but I see this is already getting very long. And a personal note to those of you who are following me, and I know that sometimes I go into gaps where I don't post a lot, and then I go into times when I'm posting, and what I've realized is on the spiral, and maybe you guys can relate to this as well, is that there is a time during the spiral where I am internalizing, where I am processing everything that I have been going through, and it's like an internalizing. I'm internalizing everything. It seems like I'm in these deep, deep, deep states and going deeper, or you could say I see it as going up a level or going into a new state of existence, or passing into a new dimension of existence, a higher level. At the same time, I don't feel like I can verbalize it because I'm in the process of going through it myself. And then I come back around into the spiral of externalizing it all, being able to put it into words, being able to wrap it up in little boxes and put it out there of what my understandings, from what I have been going through in the physical. I've been trying to a little bit more. And you know what? I'm not forcing anything, but I made a mental note to myself to try to bring it into the practical world as well. So let's say if I have this very high understanding of something for some reason, try to bring those reasons also into words so that it can be better understood in the physical plane of how I understood those concepts because of what I've been going through personally. So, yes, no, sometimes maybe. But I made a note to myself to attempt to do that. I've also been writing, which is taking a lot of my expression. But I feel this calling to begin to write down this process because I've been going through such a deep process over the past few years, and uh, through meeting. Um, uh, I'm writing. So I'm sending you guys so much love, and I really appreciate every single one of you that is here with me. And if you would like a personal meeting with me one-on-one, my contact information is in my website below. Sending you so much love. Thank you.